in Split 1's playoffs in this very position in a best-of-5 qualifying for the PCS. It was Ground Zero that triumphed. They took out the series 3-1. And as the current reigning champions, they'll be looking to try and do it all over again, make it the perfect year for GZ. And yeah, one extra stamp on that passport. Asa Bliss, that defeat ultimately meant they didn't make it through, dropping in the lower bracket. So they've got a lot to prove to salvage 2024.
And something I want to note from a player's perspective, Skinny, right now is, while this is not the grand finals, you would consider that the really big, event, right, of the split. I think this is probably in their minds the more important series, because this is that first qualifier towards the PCS, and that is a sigh of relief that you do get when you win this series. So I think that we're probably going to see a lot more energy going towards this best of 5, as this is going to be the first meeting between these guys throughout the split, and not a lot is known between what happens on stage between these teams besides that one series we did have in week 4. So I really expect to see an extremely good series tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had a lot of conversations with the players throughout the regular season, right? And a lot from the Bliss camp was that we're experimenting with new things. Things do look a little bit unrefined at the moment. There's never been a doubt of our mechanics. Our skill is always going to be there, but we want to make sure that we come into a playoff scenario where we're not thinking, hang on a minute, we don't actually have the answer to X, Y, or Z. So whilst there were certainly some worrying concerns to start off the season, I think they've really come into their own. Hence why, if you look at the last 8 games played by either side, it's just WWW.
Absolutely, just a little bit of a browser input there, but we do see, action happening in the ball lane already. Zyrakan, not really the old combo you remember where they start with that W and they can find that all in. They are, more of a level 3 duo now. Before they really need all their spells to be able to link up and find kill pressure. But Limus playing his range extremely well, and this is the advantage of this lane. You can never really go on the Nautilus, as he does have the Aftershock, he does have the shield, he is extremely tanky before you get to that, Kraken Slayer, where you have your main DPS. Limus is the kill angle they want, and without, jungle intervention, it's very hard to find, and with both junglers matching paths down, Schoenfire is just going to be that extra bit faster, and he's going to be able to get to the river before Kevy is.
That he certainly will. And I'm curious also on your talking point about some of these win conditions. You mentioned that a couple of items might be the break point on which you see all the action really start to kick off. But I look at Bliss in particular and say at level 6, 5 champions that absolutely love it when their ultimate's up and available and very keen to showcase, one item or not, we're going in.
Yeah, and something to note here is that Kevy has skipped his wolves. He is looking for the aggression there. Just some trading going on mid lane, but don't really expect Harry to go down. But blowing his flash early is not something we really see out of this player, Skimmy. He's usually very well controlled in this matchup, but this is the strength of the and going to be able to stay around and make sure he is comfortable. But I was going to mention that Kevy skipped his wolf camp, was looking for that early gank onto bot side because of Ground Zero pushing so heavily. But they use that priority, they walk in the jungle, they throw a ward down, they throw the the sweeper, they know where he is. So all of a sudden, Kevy's tracked in the early game and he suddenly lost his window to get a gank before that first base.
That he certainly has, and as you mentioned as well, the ward is down there, so in case he tries to be clever, they'll be fully aware of it, and it gets the free passage in for Schoenfire to say, we have no idea where I am, but I can do as I please. Lots of aggression in that straight 2v2. As they get up and rowdy, and you can see there, make sure to type in watch party in the chat and get yourself at LAN. Basically, go to Fortress, hang out with some mates. What would you say? Beers, bevies, what was it? Bevies, boys, and esports.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm trying to remember your slogan.
Boys, bevies, and B-sports. I mean, good enough.
B-sports, yeah. Oh, dearie me. But the talking point I wanted to mention is, it's been very rare in these initial levels that we've actually seen Harry punished in a Tristana matchup. He's played it so many times, and we go, yeah, look, he only doesn't do too well. But then he hits level 5, he gets the Berserker reads, he starts to win. It's probably the first time where Fido said, you know what, I'm not going to let you get away with that one and force out the flash.
Yeah, really nice to see that Fido is, winning these early lanes, because he was struggling so hard, especially into players who wouldn't be, considered on the same level as Harry. So all of a sudden, playing against what we would consider the best mid laner in the league right now, and doing really good individually. So good to see Fido creating advantage for his team and, really stepping up where it matters. But this is the strength of your own, right? You do have so much to say in the lane, so you can go for these really unoptimal trades and still come out on top. But Schoenfire, once again, always trying to invade, always trying to find camp timings. And Kevy forced to blow his flash earlier because he went for that trade onto Schoenfire when he did not have any priority.
And he certainly did. Schoenfire being even more so than the menace. It's a bit of a denial, a bit of a thief, taking away so much in the end. There's instead of root connects, Alador then jumps it in and says, you know what? You think you got the CC? We just have more. Limus hiding in the shadows. The flash, the barrier, it denies it all. The flash again to follow, and a single auto attack is required. Out of range was Violet, so it gets taken by Aladoric in the end. Kevy's under siege. He's been tracked from the top half of his jungle to the bottom. And Harry tries to wrap around, but Fido's just too quick to respond, and it's not time yet. Curak's even a chance to get back to to delay the reset back to base.
A lot to break down there. I'm sure we might get to see the replay on the initial engage for bot lane, but this is just a snowball when we look at the jungle department right now of what Kevy did in the early game. You know, he went for that trade onto Chernfire when he had no kill pressure, no priority. They cost him the flash. Chernfire got a base off, has a full item completed, and found Kevy out on both these camps, but this is just Kurak walking up with, you know, waits out the aftershock, and this is, you know, such a mistake when it comes to these matchups. You can't, you know, you want to deny the trading, right? You never want to be the one aggressive, because when you lose that aftershock and that shield, all of a sudden, the rip back on the feathers, which was buffed, is going to find, you know, a lot of damage, and this could have been that potential double kill going towards Violet, but Alador secures that one because there is a lot of pressure right now.
It certainly was. Yeah, Kevy here. So much frustration about the fact that Chernfire's not only full clearing, but he's also able to get a gank off as well. Their tracking has worked two-time for them now. Bit of a CS advantage fan in his regard. Bot lane now able to look at these objectives. Dragon now being considered. And as has been the case, they go for the Dragon, whilst Ground Zero then go for the Grubs. Spyro's looking to try and trim this wave as Lemus is on that classic roam. Flash away to safety. And the threat is extinguished. Let's then check in with Styx on the side of Iron to see where he reckons this one will go. Reckons it will go the distance of all 5 games, but Team Bliss should eke out the advantage in Game 5. So, yeah, despite Ground Zero having that perfect run, still believes that, you know, Bliss so capable to bring it across the finishing line.
Yeah, nice to see that it is a split of predictions from our, you know, professional analysis, so that's good to hear. Kevy is looking for that gank onto mid though, no level 6, and there is the 3 members from Ground Zero coming in quickly.
Fate Sealed is so absolutely fantastic. Rocket Jump was buffered, but not clean enough. Gets locked in place, burns the flash. In comes Chernfire, looking to lock him down with that stun, passive burn, and there it is. Harry, soul unbound, tries to salvage something. He tries to get Fido, and he's successful in the end, but he will die as a result of that one. And what do you do when you have 3 members in your lane at only 7 minutes?
This is exactly what we expected to me, right? We see that lane deployment. Lemus goes to the top side. They secure the Grubs, whereas we know reduce the Dragon trade. But Kurak being found on the bot side does have Dash off this time, Skimmy, so he's quite tanky.
Oh my god, Kurak may just be the greatest support player in the league. He's 1v2'd beyond belief. You're thinking he's dead. You're thinking there's no way he survives. Simple ult knock-up because he has the solo experience. And he takes down Aladoric as well. Now, Violet's under threat. Lemus looking to try and trim the wave, wait for the root to connect. It doesn't. He sidesteps it. Nope. Stacks around by the minion. Says, well, you know, if I'm going down swinging. Kurak flashes away. Barrier comes out by Violet. He hides in the alcove and says, you can't spot me. And Ground Zero are playing it flawlessly.
Not enough mana, and Kevy once again being invaded by Chernfire. Still no flash, and it will be him going down again.
Dawning Shadow to pick up an assist from the bot lane by Lemus as well. Very nicely for him. Just literally hit level 6 off that play. And yeah, Ground Zero very quickly putting up the pace and saying 1,500 gold lead this early on.
And Chernfire is on the board. Most farm on his team. Leandry's completed at 8 minutes. Most farm in the game, sorry. So he is having a monster performance so far. And back to my points, when we saw that map split, we saw Ground Zero prioritizing the Grubs and the top side with, you know, Lemus rotating up there. We did see in the earlier weeks how he was just leaving lane, running around the map to find as many souls as possible. And it's just so hard for, you know, Bliss to answer in response, because they can't dive this Nort without the help of Kevy, and even if they did look to do that, that is a full AD bot side diving onto a tank with tabbies. Such a tanky champion.
So tanky. Would have thought they had enough with the Blade Caller rip back on the aggro, but yeah, the elusive nature once again. Kurak may just have to get a special award designed for him. The world's best beta, I suppose, or something along those lines. How many times has he done this entire split where people think it's just a support, it should be a freebie? It always defies the odds.
Would you say he's a master at it, Skimmy?
He could be a master, maybe even a prodigy.
Ooh, very interesting. Do see a lot of action happening in the mid lane though, Skimmy. Both teams grouping up. Lemus does have both summoners here.
That he certainly does, but will he decide to use them? He goes for the flash initially, into the waiting arms of Chernfire, off on that ramp by the chickens that he will claim. As they'll look towards that next objective and say, well, it's a 2-minute away for the second Drake. First, obviously, being claimed by Bliss, but everyone might just want to chill out a second. 60 seconds on the Grubs. The real question for me, Tally, is do Bliss feel the need to lane swap to match?
I believe we're going to see that. I think we're going to see the bot lane base from Bliss and match the top side with, you know, by having that TP to respond if that does happen, because I think if they do stay in these lane states with Kurak on that bot side, he is going to be able to clear out these waves and really deny any dive happening. So, you know, giving over the 6 Grubs, especially the Fido on that Tristana, could be a mistake, especially to Chernfire is so much stronger right now, but Chernfire walking to bot lane, going to be here for potential all-in, and also to make sure that they do get priority screen, but it doesn't matter because Aladoric just found out and will go down.
Beautifully done, fantastically coordinated, the ultimate synchronization. You just can't ask for much more than that one. Ground Zero sneaking their way into the lane. Aladoric thinking, well, it's my time to shine. A hook, a stun, and a knock-up thereafter, and really, what can you do?
What can you do? I think at the moment, wherever this brand goes, Bliss really needs to avoid because he is an absolute monster. He's a very scary man, especially when you look at the item difference in the jungle right now. Just components versus a completed item. And Shern, that solo AP champion who is being enabled, does have this tier 2, so he's even faster now. Wherever he goes is lights out for Bliss, especially in this early game right now.
It certainly has been a bit of frustration for Kevy, thinking, well, where do I look to try and apply some pressure to get myself back into this game, because I'm falling further and further behind on those camp clears, and I need some gold. I need an item, and I need a gank target, and I'm just unable to find it so far. But there is that rotation, as we mentioned. 4 members of Bliss committing towards it, denying the perfect 6 stack of those grubs, and making sure that Bliss, rather Ground Zero, can't just continue to run the map and do as they please. Tien's going to pop his head into this one, despite being 40% right off the bat, and Bliss say, well, what are you doing? They turn initially towards him, having claimed 2 grubs. They'll take him off the board as well. Out goes that Call of the Forge God, and Bo's really not long for the world. He's forced to back away to the fountain under 20 seconds, and the biggest winner might just be Violet, who sat in bot lane getting plates.
Only got himself that 1 plate though, and this, second plate might fall down because there is TPs on the side of Ground Zero, probably Tien waiting for that teleport to come off cooldown and then match on the bot side. But I think there was a bit of hesitation from Bliss there. They grouped up, they did find Shern without flash in the river, but decided not to commit for it. They wanted to just get the grubs and leave, but after a while they decided to turn onto Tien instead of leaving, and that was what left them susceptible to Shern by walking up and throwing that ult, throwing out all that AoE he has and just completely blowing up that team.
So incredibly fed is Kurak at this stage as well. Bear in mind, he's 3-1, running the TP. They're going to have 3 TPs to work with to the 2 that Bliss have instead. And it's been a bit of a menace, always keeping those lane states in their favor. Once again, Harry's siege. Oh, this time the stun didn't connect, so the flash away to safety is perfect. And I think this is going to be the theme of this entire series here, Tally. Harry is not going to have a fun time.
Yeah, there is just a lot of action, and this is what we expect from our top teams. We do see jungle support from both sides grouping up and doing so much together, but the side of Ground Zero just has so much strength thanks to Shernfire and Bliss, a team who really wants these dragons. This one is going to be going over to Shernfire pretty comfortably, but they are grouping up to contest this. Do get the TP out of Kurak, and with that Knowledge coming in, with the Frozen Heart almost being completed, he is the frontline. Shernfire really needs to take over this game.
That he certainly does. Needs somebody to step up and allow more of the space, just to literally say, well, I can complement your CC. All I need is that initial target and that initial ability to get the ball rolling. 2-0-4, Leandri's in pocket, Salk Boots there as well. Now, finally, matched by Kevy with the Sundered Skies. That's going to help him out just a fraction. And he'll certainly need a little bit more than those fractions to add up because, Ground Zero have not let it foot off the gas. They continue to step forwards, and with a control ward in this bush as well, they might be setting up yet again another cheeky lane gank.
Shernfire just walking in, going to siege his turret with the team, as we do see the rotation from Fido as well, thanks to the mid priority from the early enabling from his support and jungler right now. So Ground Zero just doing a really good job to play between the lanes and make sure they have some control, and Shernfire always being around these respawns of camps and getting the crabs, getting the grubs. Probably going to be getting that Rift Herald as well in 30 seconds if he does want that one, but really easy for him to just sit bot and continue to siege this one, especially since Violet does not have that ult to get out of any engage.
Yeah, burnt the Featherstorm very early on beforehand, making sure he took 0 damage from the Pillar of Flame, trimmed the wave at the very same time and looked to try to deter it, but Ground Zero said, well, maybe we can just wait for the next wave to come on through, have another stab in the dark, and see how much pressure we can continue to apply. All the wards littered throughout that river from top to bottom, but Shern won't seem to mind. He'll walk and say, well, you know I'm here, but what are you going to really do about it to stop me?
Yeah, what can you really do? Shernfire's just going to walk across the map, follow Kevy on all these camps, and pretty much fight him wherever he wants, because he just has pride in all these lanes, and the only real threat onto him is the, when he doesn't have flash, when he can get picked out. But also something I want to note this means we did have a soul stack check on Lemus, and he was at 72 at the 14-minute mark, and this is what I was talking about when it comes to 5 souls per minute is equivalent to having 10 CS per minute on the champion. So he is on the clock, and this champ is extremely strong for this point in the game.
So strong, and also bear in mind 4 Ninja Tabbies, double Kraken Slayer, Frozen Heart done. Ground Zero at their peak performance already 14 minutes into this one, and so that Herald, you'd be daft Bliss to try and contest us here.
I think it would probably be a mistake for the straight up 5v5 to come out, but we are seeing the complete items for pretty much everyone besides Harry right now in the inventory. If they do land the CC onto Shern, well, Aladork with that flash engage, he could die in one rotation. He does a lot of damage, but he's not extremely tanky, and if they do find the Ground Zero members being split, they can find that engage, but also it's extremely hard because they're such a disciplined roster.
Well, he's just picked up the Blade of Rune King. He will be late to this fight as Bliss group up as 4, but just hug that bush in the river. They will witness the Herald fall on down, and that's going to be claimed by Ground Zero nice and slowly, but all the same in the end. As Bliss will say, yeah, not having the right members in the right time, it's not worth taking the risk. But instead, Kevy says, hang on a minute, I found Schoenfire. He's completely isolated. Let's all dive on top of him. And the shutdown is claimed. It does go to Elodoric, which is a bit of a tragedy, but it's a kill all the same.
It's the kill all the same, and he is taken off the map. His clear speed's denied. He is not full clearing over again, which is what he wants to be doing, but he does maintain his flash, right? So he still can, operate in these next team fights. So that was talking about. That is what I was talking about, Skimmy, right? They didn't even have their main damage threats there. That was pretty much just Kevy and Aldoric who just solo killed that member of Ground Zero by themselves. Harry coming in with the Fate Seal to secure that, lockdown for his team. But that's the CC I was talking about. He does a lot of damage, but he's not quite tanky. But with that arm guard being completed and being building towards his Zhonya's, he's going to get extremely strong.
He certainly is going to be extremely strong. The stasis effect is going to be certainly a blessing in disguise for him as yet another tower falls on down. The second of the game in favor of Ground Zero. Bliss yet to respond because the pressure has been so overwhelming in all three lanes, assisted by the fact that you've essentially got three champions at all times from the side of GZ, roaming and rotating. Well, Fido at this stage, despite Schoenfire seeing a lot of the spotlight, is actually the most fed in the game so far in Istristan. Has had a phenomenal game one. Really going to try and answer back from some of the, I suppose, the woes of the last few matches where he has fallen on behind.
Yeah, and it's rare to see a support in the, the top gold graph of the game, right? Correct, already sitting up really high, and it's such an important thing. I think it's quite a hard dive to go for, but there is no tower. Tien could get locked up, but with that all out, can buy some time if he has to, but 4 members from Bliss, Jimmy.
Yeah, he is going to go all out, and he is going to try what he can. Dawning Shadow buys him a little bit extra, but it's not to be enough. Violet's going to get that kill confirmation, second in his name. And a nice little pick off there as Bliss look to try and slowly regain control of this map.
And I think we're probably going to see, before those major team fights start to happen, we're going to see Bliss playing a lot to the side lanes and using their numbers advantage before the Lord Dominix does start to come out of Violet. Because you just look at the amount of armor on the enemy team, 4 Ninja Tabbies, second armor item already for Schoenfire. Kurak is such a tank. Tien is going to be such a tank as well, so he really needs this item. And it's not such a bad item to get second on Xayah, because you do have that attack speed steroid in the W, and you can really shred these members with that pullback on the E.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're mentioning right from the draft phase. You talked about 2-item spikes being the real difference maker here, but the mitigation could certainly be an easy way for Ground Zero to shred things off. And given they already had the lead, it probably feels even better to note that, well, you're going to be really scraping at those savings to figure out what is the most amount of power I can get. Last Whisper's what he can afford, and is what he's going to have to utilize going into the third Dragon Spawn.
But once again, Ground Zero has the priority. They have the setup. They do have the teleports on, or both teams have teleports on the members on the top side of the map. So if this was one they want to contest, it is quite hard to force the front to back, Skimmy.
Those supports to start things off. Out goes the Call of the Forge God. One man knock onto Kurak, who gets knocked around like a bouncy castle. Alador looks to try and ping pong that one. Blade Caller to take back Tien, who's got the all out again and goes all out on towards Violet. He needs some protection. Force the flash. That's to be matched. And Tofo strikes, drags him back, and Fido across the wall is there to assist. Kevy gets split apart. His ultimate really used to no success in the end. And Team Bliss just getting picked apart. Nobody's been lost by Ground Zero. And Tien leads the charge, saying, boys, let's get more.
It's as easy as that, and I do not think we're ever going to see Bliss win up front to back. They're just outrange. All their champs are pretty much, melee or short range minus a Xayah, but it is so hard to deal with this team. We'll probably see this one going into the replay, but the fact they just walk in and cop that, Schoenfire, all these AoE thrown out, and Violet forced to blow that Feather Swarm before anything even happens, right? Just because he needs to avoid the amount of damage going out. They're, once again, correct with that aura, that AoE, usabilities on me, absorbs so much damage, and after this point, they use their ability, they're engaged, and there's no kill threat onto Schoen or Fido or Lemus, and with these members being alive, it's lights out.
And look how scattered. That's the big thing for me, right? Harry gets completely routed back into the mid lane to try and regroup. Kevy draws himself to the bottom half of the map, and everybody else scurries to the top tier 2. So, dispersed, unfortunately unable to try and find a success, and that was a big concern for us, on top of the fact that they drafted all this AD. No clear AP threat, whilst you do have the mixed damage. You are so short range, and this brand is going to punish you. Well, Tien, no doubt, is feeling pretty happy about his position in the game. Iceborne Gauntlet, Randa wins as well. And can basically laugh at the Xayah and the Yone combo now.
Yeah, really nice itemization from Ground Zero in particular. They do have that one Frozen Heart for the attack speed aura, but then also Tien going for the random ones to reduce, critical strike damage, which is going to come out of the Yone and the Xayah. So they're really punishing enemy for being, one style of full AD, and both of these AD champions being crit based. So just really good itemization from both, and the fact Schoenfire is going for that Zhonya's second instead of the the greedy build, or he has that component so he can sit on that and build something else until it is blown.
Let's see, another fight breaks out, this time near the Baron pit itself. They all once again go into Kurak. Look at him just get knocked up time and time again. He will initially survive it all and might actually still live. They just can't find him. There's something about Kurak. He's just a little bit too clean with it, but Shern showcases that, boys, whilst they're distracted, we can assassinate them, we can jump into the backline. That's exactly where Fido finds himself, deep behind enemy lines, stuck between two towers, but with the assistance of Shelly, even without a pilot, they're able to take more and more and more.
And the 180 drift on the Rift Tail, but Shernfire using that one to get into the backline and engage there was really nice to see. But once again, Skibby, Kurak in the front, playing that absorb tank, and this time he's not a support who doesn't have CS, right? He has 2 tank items, and the fact we constantly see teams engage onto him rather than just, poke him and ignore him is the downfall.
It's just comical. We watch it one more time. Look how much time he spends in the air, basically at the skate park, not Summoner's Rift. But yeah, living the luxury of having a fasting center, he gets to be even tankier.
Yeah, just look at it. He just absorbs so much damage that they're throwing the Orn ult, they're throwing pretty much their kitchen sink at him. And the whole time, Shern is just sitting there on the back lane throughout all his abilities, and all of a sudden he's like, all right, I have cooldowns, hopping in the Rift Herald, diving through the enemy team, knocking up the entire roster. And it's just an easy cleanup for Fido in particular.
That certainly was too easy, too effortless, and lack of a response, really. It's not been without try. Bliss have certainly been pretty relentless in their pursuit of those kills, but very much easier said than done. 22 minutes then, Baron is up and available. Let's run it back right towards that Baron itself. 2-man center route. Not going to stop them just yet, though. Aladoric is waiting for that quickness, about 5 to 10 seconds away, but the Brand Pillar of Flame burns down 3 members. They're already going to come into this one at around 50%. Kevy has little to no HP. He jumps straight to the backline. There is no smite now. Down for 35 seconds. The Baron, it was never really there for the taking, but Aladoric tries to find something. It's a one-man charm and an instant jump away.
Look at that brand damage. All he did was press R, Skibby, and it's just been the items ticking the entire time. Shernfire was hitting the Baron, and then we just see that DPS continue to go up and up and up and up because he has those double burn items completed, and there's no magic resist on the enemy team, and it's just doing so much destruction to that roster. And it's going to be a 22-minute Baron picked up for Ground Zero of what we thought was going to be a much, more early game favored scenario for Bliss comp.
Yeah, certainly was to be that case, but I think a few blunders in the bot lane, being able to get those kills, the capitalization there has hurt them. The fact that Kevio is tracked as much as he was has put them even further behind, and then all that freedom has allowed them just to lock down Harry in particular and say 3-man ganks on repeat. Good luck playing from here. It's a 10k gold lead now, Telly, with that Baron being picked up. And it's Bliss yet again saying we need to target these sideways, but with the protection of that triple TP setup, it's very easy for Ground Zero to respond.
Yeah, and what can you do? I think this game has really snowballed from really minor things in early games to me. You mentioned that Kevy was tracked, and that really shut down any early pressure that Bliss could get, and the fact he was tracked means that Shernfire feels comfortable to invade him when that flash was blown, and that really threw the game out of proportion. And the fact that Shernfire got through the early game so comfortably, he's always going to outscale in this scenario and be able to carry these fights like he is now.
That he does again. Once more, Kurak leads the line, takes down the tower, chucks up the hook on CD and says, who dares step up against us, because you can't fight us. We've got the Baron, we've got the Wallet Death, and you've got a Fountain that you're going to be having to clutch in just a second. Harry forced to burn that Soul Unbound, goes on that Fate Unsealed, tries to take something, but the Dawning Shadow gets him critically low, and they yet again are unable to find a kill, even inside their base with the assistance of the laser. It's not there to help them out. 24 minutes on the dot, and Ground Zero absolutely wiped them.
What an utter destruction we have seen this game, Skimmy. This is game 1 of the series, and the fact that Bliss decided to come out with a game plan, Ground Zero ran it back with everything that worked for them, and they have just said, guys, you can't do this against us. It does not work. You need to think of something else and run it back next game.
And how crazy is it, Tally, the fact that we usually talk about these best-of series being a case of game 1, test the waters, a little bit calm, a little bit measured, maybe more macro rather than the aggression. But this one was all out. We know what your game plan is. We versed you enough both in scrims as well as on stage.